Ladies and gentlemen, this is serious, like my old friend Eric used to say. It's Spotlight Austin! On this show, singer-songwriter, music instrument maker, and Jack White's third best friend, Bobby Bergland, and the McConaughey Band. This is your host, Paul Sontag.
Hi, thank you for joining us tonight on Spotlight Austin, the show that promotes local talent, artists of all walks of life, entrepreneurs, restaurateurs, and people that we think are cool that really add to our unique Austin culture. Tonight we're very excited about our guest because he is idyllic in the Austin spirit. If you are a musician, you probably have already heard of Bobby Bergland. He makes musical instruments because he's not satisfied with the ones he already has. He's an accomplished musician as well, and people actually come and rent music out of his eclectic inventory to play at shows like ACL. We're very happy to have him here. Please welcome Bobby Bergland. Is it true that Jack White has you on a speed dial?
I can't disclose that information.
I've met a couple people like you in my walk, and I would kind of classify you as a mad scientist musician.
Fair enough.
You kind of remind me a little bit of Jeff Buckley. You kind of remind me of a number of people that.
That's a high compliment.
Yeah. That you are so passionate about writing and making music that you're not really satisfied with what you have, and you just go ahead and make your own stuff. For those of you who don't know in the audience, Bobby was actually featured in Austin Statesman for making his own handmade cigar guitars. He sold a number of those and is actually touted as the Austin Jack White, to put him on that level. What do you think about that?
I once again, high compliment. That was such a fun little experiment, to be honest. That's the way it started. It was as an experiment. And it just kind of ballooned into this fun project that made some money and got us some notoriety, and it was wonderful. And of course, being compared to Jack White is extremely flattering. And he was honestly sort of our impetus for doing that. We watched the movie It Might Get Loud,
right,
and which happened right around the same time. We all had the same ideas. It was weird, but
yeah.
So that's how that developed. That's it.
So you as I mentioned earlier, you've got this crazy collection of instruments, and like some bands of notability have come and rented equipment for you to play at ACL. Is there anything you want to say about that? Any names you can drop?
Well, I couldn't drop some names. I'll say that, my friends who are in the musical community in Austin are my favorite people to make instruments for, or that I'll give them sometimes or whatever. But Booker T of Booker T and the MGs has played one of my Hammond B3s.
Oh yeah.
The very first cigar box guitar that we sold was to Matt Ward, M. Ward. You might know him better as M. Ward from Portland. And honestly, the list is so extensive that I can't even remember a lot of them.
Charlie Sexton.
Yeah, Charlie Sexton.
I know you're kind of a perfectionist. Anybody who builds their own equipment obviously is not very satisfied. What's your favorite thing about music in general? Making instruments, playing instruments, recording, trying new sounds?
Well, if you mean what the passion, where the passion lies with me, I would say it really is finding new things that might have been discovered years and years ago that someone else knew about, but I didn't know about them. Precisely.
Right.
That's
Didn't that start during the Civil War?
Oh yeah, that's a very old concept, and but when we discovered it, it was just like, wow, we can wind our own pickups and we can make this seemingly benign thing just ring out and sound crazy and howl like, you know, the Midnight Wolves. But
Is it true that Justin Bieber has contracted you to build him a musical instrument?
well, Justin and I have a special relationship. I don't know where my backpack is, but he has actually contracted me.
Backpack.
He's contracted me to wear this backpack around, and this is an advertising thing. We're very close. He'll never tell anybody that, but Justin and I go way back. I mean, yeah, we're talking, I don't know, 30, 40 years or so.
Yeah.
But it's there again. I can't disclose that.
Yeah. So, you know, I know you first got your, initial notoriety from building cigar box guitars. I know you continue to build instruments of all varieties. I think we have a couple of them right here. Would you like to tell our audience about what you're doing currently?
Well, all right. So this has been something that I've been working on lately. Leslie speakers. So this is one that I built. This part was harvested out of an old, junked out organ. They oftentimes would come with these built in, and then the electronics and other things would just fail on them, and so somebody would put it on the curb. So you can take that part. This part, the horns, they're two separate parts, the bass and the upper rotor. And this one I actually built out of funnels, oil funnels from O'Reilly's
Like
Auto
the plastic
Parts.
ones?
Yeah. And I cut them up. I'm quite the tinkerer, so I cut them up, and I knew what the real ones looked like, and I just sort of pieced it together, experimented a little bit to get it quite right, and then it actually went really well. I was pretty amazed. The first time I put it together and played it, it sounded awesome.
How does it compare to an actual Leslie speaker?
Well,
in sound quality.
I'll be honest with you, the ones like this that I build have a much more organic and greasy, dirty sound. I was watching an interview with Aretha Franklin earlier today, and she used the word greasy to describe the Muscle Shoals sound, and I'd never, that's not necessarily something you equate with good, but in terms of sound. And
does that mean, would we be able to interpret that as unrounded edges, or do you mean something different?
Absolutely. It's just got a much more raw feel to it. It's gritty, and there weren't engineers who worked on this and went in and said, oh, that frequency is not quite rounded or something like that. No, it's definitely just the rawness of it. And the little, Paul McCartney one time was talking about the old boards that they used at Abbey Road and how they were fuck-upable. You could turn up a board so much that it would distort, and these are things that are gone from our lexicon now, in terms of
everything's so digital.
Right, yeah, and everything is sort of governed or, limited in such a way that you can't just go in there and literally blow your speakers up.
Right.
But in this case, you can.
Yeah. Is it true that Miley Cyrus called you intoxicated and confessed that she has no talent and she'd like you to complete the remainder of her tour?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's me. When you see any appearance that she does on the AMAs or whatever, that's me.
Yeah.
I just have a really good makeup artist.
I have to ask you about this. You've got this other instrument here. It kind of looks like a candy tin with a banjo neck attached to it.
Well,
what's going on here?
Okay, so this is an offshoot of the cigar box guitar stuff. This is the Plantation Jingle Bits. I have no idea who came up with that, but it's
got a flying V on it, so it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's chevron shape. It's some 1950s candy tin. I don't know just that name is so weird that I love it. But I built the neck for this, and bolted it onto a candy tin, built the pickup, and this is just a regular electric 5-string banjo. I built this for a friend of mine who's a drummer in town, Thor, if you know who that is. And Thor, if you're watching this, I apologize. I haven't given you this yet, but I built it, and I kind of fell in love with it, so I've been hanging on to it. But he'll either get this one or one like it. So,
yeah. Are you going to play this for us tonight?
No, this one doesn't have. It's not strung up, so I can't do this one. But I'll play something else for you.
Well, I'm very happy, and I'm sure our audience will be happy to hear as well. You're going to play something for us musically.
This is true.
Right after the break.
That's true.